Well, a huge thank you to each and every one of you, to our media colleagues as well, on a bank holiday Monday, for you to come here and listen to this media press conference. I came into politics back in 2003. And that was, as you will all recall, following the invasion into Iraq by the Labour government. A war that was unjust, that saw the death of millions of innocent Iraqis. And the British public was misled with weapons of mass destruction. And it was those lies that encouraged me as a graduate to enter the political arena. And I stood as a local councillor because the people of Aston wanted a change. They wanted someone who could express their concerns, not only in the council house, but also on a national footing. It is the same reason why I have decided to offer my resignation to the Liberal Democrat Party. I have had many sleepless nights thinking about this decision. It is a decision that is not being made lightly at all. As you know, I have been with that party for a best part of 20 years. But it comes really down to this, that what matters to me and people like Akhmed Yakoob is not what political parties want, it is what the public wants. And that is something that I have been championing throughout my political career. I have canvassed and campaigned along the Perry-Barr constituency, and most of the electorate are saying that we don't want our voice to be shackled by any political party, be that Labour, be that Conservative, be that Liberal Democrat. So that is the reason why I've decided to stand as an independent candidate. With the community support, I am confident that we will not only take out Shabana Mahmood here in Ladywood constituency, but we will also take out Khalid Mahmood in the Perry-Barr. We are always, and I've always constantly said this, anyone who enters the political community represents the views of the community they serve. This is not a limited topic. It is about all the injustices that we see, whether that is not enough funding for the NHS, whether that is deprivation, whatever the community requires. It doesn't matter which political party you stand for, but as independents, know this, that we will be raising the concerns of all of our communities. And another factor for those that may want to challenge our decision, know this, more than 70% of the British population across all faiths, across all communities, wanted an immediate ceasefire 30 days into the invasion into the Gaza Strip. They have not repeated that poll in this country. And it's an obvious reason why, because the poll would be probably touching the 90s if it was conducted again. The atrocities that are being committed, even in Rafah, with the International Court of Justice making its ruling, Israel is acting as a rogue state, and their leadership are no different to any rogue nation. And this country should not tolerate or have any investment deals within the Israeli lobbyists. And so that is why I am going to be standing shoulder to shoulder with Akhmed Yakoob, and inshallah we will have an enormous victory on the 4th of July of this year.
I would like to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to each and every one of you that voted for me in the West Midlands mayoral elections. Because what we achieved alone in Birmingham was a mammoth task, and it seemed impossible at first. But it goes to show that if people are united for one cause and want to really achieve something, it's doable. We got, and I say we because it's you guys, We received 43,000 votes from Birmingham. Alhamdulillah. We won 4 constituencies in the West Midlands mayoral election. Ladywood, the constituency we're in now. Perry Bar, which Barrister Ayoub Khan is going to contest. Hall Green and also Yardley. We won this, alhamdulillah. Also Hodge Hill was marginal. So it just goes to show what started off as what the media were calling it, a bit of a joke, really shocked the system, shocked the political system all over the UK, alhamdulillah. And the announcement of this election came as a surprise to me, as it may have to all you guys. I had a Pakistan ticket booked for a holiday, and I was meant to be in Pakistan today. Yesterday was my flight from Heathrow Airport. I had to cancel it the same day. I think I spoke to you. Yeah. I spoke to Brother Ayoub and he said, listen, there's no time for Pakistan. We could go there later because there's work to do here. So we're here now. We're only about 40 days away from election. And now we have more times to strategize, whereas when I first entered into the West Midlands mayoral election, I'll be honest with you, I did not know what I was doing. With the help of all these brothers around me, I managed to achieve what I did. So, and I know how it feels like to come from an area or a community which is deprived. I grew up in Perry Bar, Aston, like Barrister Ayoub Khan. We know how it feels and how these areas are neglected. The working class man has been totally neglected. Of course, by the Tories, that's expected of them. But now, the working class man has been neglected by the Labour Party as well. I call them Tory lights. They don't agree, they don't disagree or oppose anything that the Tories say. It's time now to teach them a lesson. I'll give you a quick example of how the inner city areas are treated against the outer city areas or the more rural areas. So I used to live in Perry Bar, and if we called an ambulance to Perry Bar, sometimes they don't even come and they'll say, visit a GP tomorrow or make a phone call. If they do come, it will be about 2 hours or at least an hour, And this is my own experience. This is not somebody else's experience. This happened to me. And then I called an ambulance not long ago. I was ill a few months ago. It arrived within 6-7 minutes. Same thing if you phone for an emergency with the police. It will always take longer in the inner city areas where there is more police. There's more policing in the inner city areas than the outer city areas, but they take longer to get here. Why? Because we have been neglected for far too long. Absolutely. For 14 years now, Ladywood has been run by Labour. Birmingham has been run by Labour, and it's a bankrupt council. So when people ask me what my policies are, of course it's going to be to fix the damage that these politicians have already made. It can't get any worse. It can only get better, inshallah. So I need support from each and every one of you. I know you will vote for me, inshallah, but you need to get other people to vote as well. We received almost 9,000 votes in the mayoral elections throughout Ladywood. We need to double that, and we will double that come 4th of July, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, thank you very much, and I really welcome the brothers and sisters who are here. It is a real privilege to have, and being sitting next to, I wouldn't disclose it, but next to one of my ex-youth club members, Ayoub Khan. He's a very good table tennis player. But I really wanted to just share the storm, and I'll say that, the storm that Akhmed Yakoob has created, and also the numbers of years that Ayoub has campaigned in terms of getting Aston back to kind of understanding that you got the voice. And I've tried to negotiate as much as I can in any circumstances to tell other colleagues and who were wanted to stand in Yardley. But it came to a certain that we, on principle, decided yesterday after a meeting in this room that we were going to mediate and leave it to the alliance meeting this evening that was going to be deciding which are the best candidates. Unfortunately, the Workers' Party were campaigning on my road and distributing the leaflets. And I just wanted to show you just wanted to share this about how sometimes some people can go to a really dirty extent. I was invited to a nephew's business on Coventry Road with the basis that I've got Councillor Saqib, who is the small youth candidate, was going to come there and he was going to present a certificate to one of our volunteers. And I've got pictures of those on my phone. And in that room, we had Councillor Wasim, Anis, the guy from Scotland, Jess Phillips, and others. They were campaigning, they came in. And they took, not only we took the picture with Anis and Saqib giving a certificate to one of our volunteers under this Creative Cohesion West Midlands. And I thought that was it. They then took a picture of me with all of them four standing. And this morning, or this afternoon, soon as we said that that agreement was going to coming up, they then now twisted that I was a Labour Party supporter.
Shame on them.
And I really despise that kind of tactics. But I said that's good because I know the foundations of living and working in Birmingham, in Smallheath, to try and get our equality right, underrepresenting of cities. If you look at the city councils, officer levels, one or two people at the director level. NHS, no representation at senior level. So what we're saying is, why are our young people then being driven into drugs and driven to antisocial behavior? Because they haven't got the jobs that needs to be cleared. So I'm saying to you, my pledge is to support all candidates in every ward, and I can give you my surety. I choose to live in Smallheath. I want to serve people in Yardley as much as I like to live there, and that's the message I want to
Thank you. And it cuts across all communities, is the topic of Gaza. As parliamentarians, we are responsible to advocate on not only national issues, but international issues. Of course, one of the key factors that we have to remember is that this country supports humanitarian aid towards what's happening in the Gaza Strip. Millions of pounds is being spent to help the people in Gaza and in the West Bank. That money is only being spent because the IDF forces are causing destruction. So that money could be spent on the NHS, could be spent on GPs, could be spent on school places for children. So many things we could achieve with that money, but for this destruction which is taking place in the Gaza Strip. So when you say what's the top priority, all of these factors are top priorities. Stop the war in Gaza, you will have more money to spend in this country, and that is the challenge that we want to ensure we can raise as parliamentarians. Look at where our money and our taxpayer money is being spent. If we can stop the irresponsible spending because of what the Tories have supported and what Labour are complicit in, then there's more money to spend in our local communities. And just like Mr. Akhmed Yakoob said, I think when you look at the list of panelists here, Shafaq was my mentor when I was a kid, when I grew up in Aston. And the sort of service that Shafaq provided in local centres kept me away from crime. I'm a barrister by profession today, growing out of Aston. I can tell you this, when I was studying at the bar, people would say, what is your father's occupation? I would say he's a labourer. Oh, well, you're going to have enormous difficulties. Getting into the bar profession is like the Ritz Hotel. The doors are open to all, but only a selected few can get in. And I qualified and I'm practicing as a barrister, but I choose to remain in Aston because I want to be a role model to other young people that if you put in the time and commitment and effort, then you can be successful. And so you've got a mentor, someone who's had the mentoring and has become a professional, and someone who's following suit. So inner city areas, we can succeed as long as we have the right level of support and the right mentors to advocate on our behalf.
On the subject of mentors, Mr. Khan is actually my mentor. So, I don't want to give away his age, but I'm a bit young guy compared to him. And alhamdulillah, I was talking about him the other day. He got an amazing result. I don't want to go into the facts of the case, but the guy in court is untouchable, and I'm a witness to that. And when he talks, people listen. And the way he is with his community in Aston, everyone knows him, whether you're a young child or you're an elderly gentleman or women. Everyone knows him, and he has that love for people. That's why people show him that in return. And I've been not just looking up to him in terms of law, but politically as well, because like as a politician, like, he still lives in Aston on Albert Road. He can move out. He has the resources, but he chooses to stay within.
Don't tell him too much.
He chooses to stay within the community so he can help them. So together we are stronger. Mr. Khan, alhamdulillah, has made our movement
So into a tsunami.
Tsunami, inshallah, an earthquake.